What's going on in Tulum? Is it becoming Mexico's Las Vegas? A lot of people are leaving the US and some of them are going to Mexico. A number of reasons cause this. One of them is Mexico is, you know, land attached to the United States, so it's easier in that regard. You don't have to get on a flight to go to and from, and it's kind of similar to the United States, at least the southern United States. It's not a totally different climate, like maybe over in Thailand or some of those jungle climates. But this guy, remember, we watched his video when he was talking about leaving Canada. He was living up in Vancouver area, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a little ways back in the channel. Excuse me. But I really liked his style, and he does a lot with like living overseas and that kind of thing. So I thought we'd jump in and watch this video, him talking about what's happening in Tulum. Let's jump in.
Tulum is getting a bad rap. So why do you think that is? Is it the sky-high taxi prices or the price of going out in the hotel zone? I believe people just need to understand what Tulum is transforming into. Yes, so many influencers come to Tulum. They drive in, it feels like Burning Man. Dust everywhere, everything feels kind of unsettled. They check in, and to much of their dismay, they realize that everything is quite expensive. So what do? They go to their social media feeds and they post about it. Why? Because Tulum is trending. Yes, it's happened, and it continues to happen every day. Yes, it's very expensive, but here's why. I call Tulum Mexico's Vegas. Why? Well, it's got two different sides. So you've got the Las Vegas Strip, which everybody knows, very similar to the hotel zone. Then you've got Old Las Vegas. Well, Old Las Vegas comparison is Centro and La Villeta, a very Mexican kind of feel. It's also where you'll find a lot of the locals. It's also similar prices. In Centro and La Villeta, comparison to Old Vegas used to be penny slots, but now it's more of a nickel or even a quarter. Man, inflation sucks. Tulum is a small...
It does suck. Everything's going up, and what I'm finding is that many places overseas, because of, I think it's for two reasons. One, the price is going up because Americans are going there and kind of gentrifying the area. I think that's a factor. And two, prices could be going up because they're getting more popular. And this is not great for locals who live there, who maybe don't come in with a bunch of cash from a Western country. And it gentrifies and sometimes pushes them out. And that is not a cool scene.
City, and Las Vegas is a giant one, but they all started somewhere. Now, as we move closer to the beach, there is construction on every single corner. And yeah, sometimes it feels like you're driving on the moon because it is a bumpy path. Tulum is small, so it does take time to build infrastructure. So if you want to invest into real estate here, you're going to need to know a few things. So what I would suggest you to do is buy a pre-sale or a parcel of land, build. Why? Because it would have doubled in the next 2 to 3 years. You could sell it, or you could just keep it for your vacation rentals that would go up, and up. Also, in that time, a lot of the developments around you would have completed, and with that comes also beautiful infrastructure. So in 2, 3, 4 years, Tulum is going to be a very beautiful city with some amazing architecture. Oh.
It will be if they do it right. If the people who have a vision for what, you got to have a vision, right? We all have to have a vision for what we want our lives to look like, for what we want our cities to look like. If the leaders in Tulum don't have a clear vision and keep the growth contained and make it grow in allow it to grow in a conscious way, a deliberate and focused way, there's no guarantee that it might look good. Many cities in the U.S. are sprawling, out of control. And once that happens, you never get it back. You lose the opportunity. So I hope the leaders in Tulum have a clear vision so that they don't lose the magic that makes that area awesome. Because if you leave it up to developers, they may not come in and do right by the land, by the landscape, by the natural geography, by the look and feel. I spent some time in Sedona a few years ago, and what struck me there was they were very conscious, understandably very conscious in their planning, that none of the buildings or houses are taller than tree level. So it still has the natural look, right? If you don't have a lot of big, tall buildings, other than in the cities, so to speak, but off in the nature, that the houses were very well. They were painted proper colors to blend in with the landscape. They weren't very tall. It was done in a very thoughtful, conscious way. I was really struck by how that area had developed. So it's no guarantee that it's going to be great. Let's hope it is, though.
Over the next 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a lot of developments moving closer and closer to the beach. That brings me to the hotel zone. It kind of reminds me of a bohemian Las Vegas strip with restaurant, bars, and nightclubs, just one after another, all the way down for miles. So there's one thing that I need you to understand. The pricing in Tulum is very similar to what it is in Las Vegas. Now, understanding this, you will be prepared. The taxis are astronomically expensive. And food and going out in the hotel zone, you will have a legendary experience if you're ready to ball out. And if you're not, you'll be one of those influencers on YouTube talking about how expensive it is. So yes, the taxis are crazy.
If you're ready to ball out.
Expensive. Or you can walk, which I actually did. I walked from Centro all the way to the hotel zone. Now, I would not recommend it because a lot of people ask me, is Mexico safe? Well, I did walk all that way with camera gear. I would not recommend it because there's barely a shoulder to even walk on. And coming here the first couple times, it's hard to navigate which road to go on to actually get to the beach. So I do not suggest walking, but you can walk. I never have had an issue. I've walked pretty much everywhere in Tulum, and I've never had an issue day or night. Okay, so now getting into the fun stuff. Now, Las Vegas, I know, has something going on every single weekend. Of course, there are 3 million people. Now, Tulum is 60,000, but that increases rapidly between late December to early February. It's something called festival season. And now the biggest and best DJs and electronic acts that you will see in Las Vegas come to Tulum. There is 3 different festival grounds: Templo, Vesica Cenote Bar, and Zamna. And the biggest and best acts are playing every single day. Then there is all the different beach clubs on Hotel Zone, every single nightclub, and everything else has illuminated the city. And yes, things get to be very, very expensive. Now, this brings me to my next topic, and I've said this before: be prepared. Knowing this is what everybody in Tulum waits for. These are the taxi drivers, these are the restaurants and bars, these are the Airbnb owners, these are the vacation rentals, these are the hotels. They all wait for this time. And yes, they jack prices straight up. As long as you're prepared and ready to ball out, just like what you do when you go to Vegas, then you will have the best time of your life. So yes, Tulum is on the early stages of becoming Mexico's Vegas. Now, if you're prepared, it's even better.
I wonder if they're going to start putting up big hotels and maybe go do like a Cancun type of vibe in Tulum. Although it is close. Wild. Let's see what some people are saying here. I have a villa in Region 15 in Tulum. It's easy to ride a bike or scooter to the hotel zone. Despite what people say, all beaches are public, and you can access them and walk on the beach as you wish. If you want to stop and use the lounge chairs, you need to pay either 1, the beach club price, or 2, pay the minimum in food and drinks. Is it Vegas? Interesting. I never thought about it like that. I hate Vegas, but love Tulum. It's going to be a little bit different vibe, I'm sure. Let's see, this person, they continue to say, I love the vibe here. Yes, it's overpriced in areas, and it's a be seen type of place, but that also gives it a fun energy. You can also totally avoid it if you want to. You didn't speak at all about the total saturation of the vacation rental market in Tulum or the incoming threat of climate change. See, level rise. I don't think Tulum is a great investment unless you plan to use your place for the good part of the year as your second home. I don't know sea level rising is very much of an issue. I mean, is it rising? I don't know. I see fresh drinking water and other utilities being a major problem in the future unless real infrastructure is built. If sea levels rise and hurricanes continue to get worse, it'll be a major issue trying to sustain. Overpriced, yes. Overhyped, yes. Will you still go? Yes, probably once, even twice. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you been to Tulum recently? It's been 20 years since I've been down in that area. I really found it to be amazing, but that was a whole different experience, 20 plus years ago. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you in the next one. All the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.